And welcome back to AGDQ 2015, ladies and gentlemen. Coming up, we have Sonic 3 and Knuckles by HDL. It's going to be an awesome run, so you definitely want to stick around for that. We are raising money for the Prevent Cancer Foundation. The Prevent Cancer Foundation is a nonprofit organization that focuses on prevention and early detection of cancer via research, education, outreach, and advocacy. Their staff has worked towards this goal in countries such as China, South Korea, Australia, Canada, England, and other countries spanning a total of 6 continents. PCF has invested over $130 million over the last 29 years and has funded more than 480 grants and fellowships. I'd like to remind you that we have a character bidding war for the next run coming up, which is the Sonic Advance race. You can choose whether the runner will play as either Tails or Knuckles. Currently, Knuckles has a slight lead of $185, but Tails is right behind at $80, so hurry up and get those in by the end of this run, and hopefully you will get your choice. We'd also like to remind you that we have a list of we have our restreamers. We have our German restream on German. We have a Mexican restream on twitch.tv/The Mexican Runner. So definitely go check those out. Awesome Games Done Quick has had a lot of help from a couple of sponsors, such as The Yeti. The Yeti is a t-shirt site featuring an awesome new design every 24 hours for a low price. The Yeti's partnered with us for AGDQ 2015, offering an array of shirts with $3 from every unit sold going to the Prevent Cancer Foundation. Check out the collection at www.theyeti.com/AGDQ. We have a $35 donation from Kirby Master saying, "Fellow 2D Sonic runner here, Kirby Master. Great run, Timpsy, and looking forward to the rest of the 2D Sonic block. Glad to support all of you, and thanks for all the help in learning these games. You all are doing fantastic. P.S. Even if Knuckles wins the Sonic Advance bid war, Talon and Bigfoot Mike need to show off Egg Rocket." We have $100 from Godkin Rice saying, "Hey guys, I grew up on Sonic 2 and Sonic and Knuckles, and I'm glad to see both being run. I look forward to the GDQ events every year. My only complaint is that there isn't one for every season. I'm putting this donation towards Knuckles and Sonic Advance because I don't have the money to beat the Tails fans who have overwhelmingly beat out Knuckles for S3 and K." I'd also like to remind you that Awesome Games Done Quick has a Humble Bundle. So check out the Awesome Games Done Quick bundle on humblebundle.com. Pay what you want for up to 9 games, a Twitch Turbo subscription, a subscription to XSplit Premium, and exclusive merchandise, all while supporting the Prevent Cancer Foundation. That's www.humblebundle.com. We have $25 from Granipicus, who says, "I love hearing all the fun banter between the couch and the runner. It makes watching these events so memorable. Thanks for working towards a great cause." So we are still setting up for the Sonic 3 and Knuckles run by HDL. as a reminder, if you donate during the Sonic block, you have a chance at winning a couple of prizes. We have a classic Sonic figure that is a $10 minimum donation. It was donated by Steel Feather, so you definitely want to get a chance at this. We also have a custom Sonic Genesis and all the Genesis Sonic games donated by ROM Scout, which is with a $25 minimum donation. Both of them are very awesome, and you definitely want to take a look at those. Once again, you want to get your bids in for that Sonic Advance bid war that's coming up. Most recent check, we have Knuckles is in the lead with $255, and Tails is right behind with $125. We also have a couple of incentives that are coming up, not in the too distant future. We have a Big Rigs Over the Road Racing Infinite Speed Showcase. So that is at $127. That needs $3,000 to get met, so you want to get your money in for that as well. AGDQ is brought to you by Something Artistic, World 9 Gaming, Tiny Build Games, Humble Bundle, The Yeti, and Turtle Beach. Oh, we are now cutting off the Sonic 3 bid war. Tails won the bid war.
HDL, but
Yeah, like all the mics are the same.
You ready? Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so hello everyone, I am HDL, and this is Sonic 3 and Knuckles. The mechanics are quite similar to Sonic 2, but there are differences. I will start with the spin dash, even though I explained it before. It's fairly the same. It's whenever you hold down and push the jump button, you'll enter a rev state like that. And whenever you push jump button again, you'll rev, which is you'll build speed every time you push a button. It takes about 6 revs to reach 100% speed, and your speed is determined by when you release holding down. So for every frame that you do not release down, you will lose 2 to 3% speed. Unique to Tails in this game, as opposed to Sonic 2, is his flight. Flight is very much affected by whatever current momentum you have, and in turn, it also affects momentum. Another mechanic of the game that's very important is called air drag. It's much more prevalent in this game than in Sonic 2. Basically, whenever you jump, as you near the apex of your jump, you will begin to lose horizontal speed. There are some ways to mitigate that. And you may notice that there is no music right now. That's because I initiated a bug where I overrode the music with the water shield sound effect at the right time, so there's no music for Angel Island 2. Sorry about that, if it's your favorite song. You won't be seeing any tricks until the second zone in Hydro City. Angel Island is fairly straightforward. It's just playing through the level normally. However, do not get used to it, because that is not a common thing in this game. You'll be seeing a lot of game-breaking stuff very, very shortly.
Yeah, Angel Island is pretty much this is how the game's meant to look like, and then every other level is, this is how it gets broken.
Yeah, I find it funny how you mentioned, like, you won't see any glitches until until the second zone.
Yeah.
All the way until the second zone.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it that way, you do see it fairly soon in the run.
Another big
But
change from Sonic 2 is that Sonic 3 doesn't have the speed cap.
yeah, there's no aerial speed cap anymore like in Sonic 2. So you can hold any direction you want in the air and you won't slow down.
There are still speed caps though. For example, when you roll, you have a speed cap of 16 pixels per frame. And there are some other speed caps, like for example, when you roll off a slope, but they're usually not very noticeable.
Yeah, that's something we actually didn't touch on in the Sonic 2 run. When you roll downhill, you actually increase speed. You accelerate faster than running downhill. However, running downhill has no speed cap, so you can technically just gain speed forever if there was an infinite hill. Rolling downhill, however, does have a speed cap. But usually you're gonna see me roll downhill.
Are you not calling him out on that?
Am I not what?
He already told me in practice he wasn't going to do that. So, yeah, another thing is, like, here, because he's off screen and he's flying, he doesn't actually lose any of his momentum while he's flying in the air. I don't know why that happens.
It happens because when you're above the screen, you can absolutely not ascend, and you only lose speed when you ascend. So even though he's spammed buttons, he doesn't ascend, and then he doesn't get the air drag. And that's why it works.
Yeah, air drag doesn't apply to just jumping, it also applies to when you're flying. And since Tails generally ascends very slowly while flying, you're always going to get air drag, so you'll never get the maximum amount of horizontal speed. But you can't ascend while flying above the top of the screen, so you always go horizontally and maintain as much speed as possible.
Oh, and he needs to die here to do a trick coming up.
Real quick, we have reached $400,000 in donations.
So this was not supposed to happen.
He is supposed to die.
Yeah, there was actually a quick death with using that wall, but it's fine because I can still continue from here.
Because Act 1 was still loaded, so you need to die, so it unloads Act 1, and then you can do a level wrap in Act 2. Every time you see him die, it's probably because it's Act 2 and he wants to do a level wrap.
So even though you do a level wrap, you're not necessarily able to just get straight to the boss. You do need to still position the camera vertically into the boss arena. If he didn't spin dash up a pipe, which obviously there's not a pipe going up to the boss room, he's actually positioned halfway through the level in like a wraparound of the level, and he spin dash up a pipe so he could vertically align himself so that he would actually end up at the boss. And then when the camera reaches the boss, it just kind of locks him there and it's like, oh yeah, you made it to the end of the level.
Yeah, there's a boss event trigger, and when it triggers, like Worcester said, you have to align the screen vertically with it. When it triggers, it actually establishes boundaries on the sides of the screen, and the game does not allow you to exist outside of those boundaries. So basically, it teleports me to the boss room from the far right side of the stage.
And this is yet another level that screen wraps, which you saw earlier in Sonic 2 in Metropolis 1. So what he's going to do here is he's going to initiate a screen wrap again, which will then unload the sprite objects, and then that's just going to push him into this wall so he can just zip real easy.
Yeah, the way screen wrapping works is that whenever he's above the camera, the 0 point for the Y position for the camera is at the very top. So whenever he jumps above that, the value becomes very high, so the camera thinks he's very low down. So it tries to scroll to look for him.
Yeah, and during that time, sprite-based objects are unloaded to conserve memory because they're so far off screen. I position myself next to the wall, and when the screen catches up, the fire shield reloads, and it pushes me into the wall. And that's called sprite ejection. And during sprite ejection, the game basically tells the character to ignore solidity.
Yeah, sprites have priority over the normal ground.
Nice. Spin dashing on those really tight slopes is quite difficult actually, and he got both of them.
So I'm actually going to fight the Knuckles boss here. This is not the boss that Sonic or Tails usually fight, but if you do the screen wrap from the top like that, you can come to where Knuckles usually fights Robotnik. And this boss pattern actually changes. You can get multiple patterns for where these spike things appear. This is one of the most favorable outcomes. And it's actually determined by something completely arbitrary. It's basically the number of frames that the Act 1 signpost is sparkling. That's actually what determines the boss pattern for this. Marzo Jr., who is the main tasser for this game, he's the one who told me that. He's basically the living encyclopedia of this game. Shoutouts to Marzo.
Okay, and this whole zone is completely broken by what is actually my favorite glitch in this game. It's called Wheel Glitch, which is initiated right there. And now, yeah, it looks ridiculous and is awesome.
Yeah, and he does that spin dash right there to like keep the camera locked, so he saves like a few frames just because he needs to wait for the camera to scroll to the boss.
So basically what just happened there is the wheels on this game, the black wheels that you saw, have completely different physics and properties to anything else in the game. And for whatever reason, they're just also on those ring boxes. They assume the way you get rid of these properties when you're on a wheel.
Oh.
Right, so
I'm going to try and make this back.
Yeah, I actually need to take a death here. Because it was critical that I landed on that platform.
Yeah, he wants to maintain slope glitch into Act 2.
I can
Wheel
actually
glitch.
just jump down here.
Yeah.
Wheel glitch.
So
Yeah.
the way the game thinks, the only way it thinks you can get rid of the properties of the wheel is to jump. So he has to go through the whole level without jumping, pretty much, so he can maintain wheel glitch into Act 2, because the only way you can get off those wheels is to jump. They just didn't think you could get it in any other way. But basically it's got like, what is it, like max gravity or something, and it can just be applied in
Yeah.
any direction.
Extremely high gravity.
I think he
and-
falls by 16 pixels per frame or more. I don't remember the exact value. But it basically it's just really high and there's no acceleration. It's like just directly applies the
So as he runs
actual
over a
speed.
slope, his gravity will be directly below him at any point in time.
There we go.
Yeah, like when he goes on slopes, for example.
So beating this boss with that jumping is actually quite tricky, as you saw before when he messed it up, like rolling onto the platform. Wow, that was close. Nice,
Yeah.
dude, nice.
All right.
That's good.
There's
So now we
actually
have to
quite
keep it
a lot of variance on that boss, depending on when I start walking. Oh, and by the way, you can make the signpost fall on the floor. Depending on when I start walking to the left and when I time my roll, it'll determine when I start bouncing on the boss. And just a few frames to the left or a few frames to the right, or a few pixels rather, it'll basically change the outcome. And there are so many different outcomes. But now I actually have wheel glitch, and I can carry it into Act 2 and do funky stuff like this.
Jumping off the barrel doesn't cancel the wheel glitch.
I actually messed that up quite big. But this actually I can still make
Yeah, you
it
can
from
save
here.
it.
It's just much, much slower.
Like basically, right now he's at the very bottom of the stage, even though it looks like he's at the top. And there's like these rectangular blocks that he has to like pass through. But unfortunately, I lost the glitch, so he can't like fast
I
fall
can
to the
actually
boss.
fly through this, yeah.
Yeah, so in the ideal situation, gravity would just be carrying him to the right, but now he's
Yeah.
just actually traversing it manually. Also, you might have noticed he actually jumped off the barrel. Yeah, I kind of lied before. He can jump off the barrels because they're another sprite-based object or something. I don't know.
Yeah, they override the other properties. So like whenever he jumps, it clears the object he's currently on, not the wheel glitch.
Yeah, as you can see, this is much, much slower. And there are actually these walls that are in my way, and in order to get over them, I have to like go in between them, and I was just flying.
Often with the wheel glitch, you can just fall sideways right through that in like a matter of seconds.
Yeah, I would have been able to beat this in like under 40 seconds, because the wheel glitch will just carry you all the way to the right much, much faster than that.
But doing that level normally is like over 2 minutes, so it's still way faster.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 2:45 or something
Plus
to
there's
that
that
effect.
barrel that's literally impossible to pass through.
So yeah, we've actually been talking about a lot of really technical stuff. Just watch the run, actually. It's ridiculous how broken this game is. This level also completely broken.
Yeah,
So-
I actually have to do a 3-frame trick here called slope glitch. Slope glitch, we touched on it a bit in the Sonic 2 run, but basically I maintain the angle of whatever slope I last landed on, and I can use that to break this level, because this level is one of the levels where you can fall infinitely, like such.
And this level also screen ramps, so there's no like death plane at the bottom of it, so you can just keep falling and going and going and going.
And right there, I
Get a
actually
ring.
pause to help me time that jump, because there are multiple outcomes you can get from that, and some of them are quite disastrous.
So he's in Act 2 right now, because the transition isn't at the end of the boss, it was right before it. So
Yeah,
you
it's
can,
in the
like, skip right
corridor.
into the Act 2 and then fight the final, the Act 2 boss.
And it still has cloak glitch.
Nice, dude, nice. That's actually a really difficult strat. That's really good.
Yeah, so I was able to go for that flight strat, which is a bit faster, because I picked up a couple extra
Yeah.
rings for
So he
safety.
got through Act 1, yeah. And if he does like a really good spin dash, he can get through Act 2 while having 0 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, you can notice that the animals glitch out as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because basically the art doesn't like realize it's Act 2. And
So this level is also extremely broken. So what he's going to do is he's going to manipulate this bird bot, and he's going to lock the screen. So he's going to look up here to lock the screen, and he's manipulating this bird bot to hit him so that the screen stays locked, so the sprites of the spikes aren't loaded, so he can just fall into them. Then they push him into the wall and initiates another level wrap. He's now going to hold down to try and get the screen to focus down so he can actually enter the boss arena. And this is yet again Knuckles' boss. And Sonic and Tails are only meant to have one of these, and the level actually ends when you defeat one of them, even though there's 2 of them here. So he'll probably keep one of them alive, and it looks pretty goofy when the level ends. Like, he's still trying to kill him, and then that happens.
Yeah. And he actually wants the boss to kill him now after the results screen ends.
Yeah, because now he's on Knuckles' path, and he's not meant to be here, and he's just going to fall to his death immediately. And, see, that's way quicker than just falling down for like another half a second.
This is actually, in my opinion, the hardest level to optimize as far as raw execution. There's a very big time variance here, but it's also, in my opinion, one of the best flowing levels. As you can see, I'm going for very specific jumps. You only really have a few frames to land those jumps off the curves to get a very specific trajectory. There's a really big jump here. Let's see if I can get it. Yes.
Nice. Oh, yes. That was
so
good.
optimal.
I actually flew a little bit too high there, but that's fine. I got the
Two
big
frame
jump.
perfect jumps in a
Yeah.
row.
Oh, that's
Oh, and you're supposed to like
acceptable.
go hit a spring and come back, but he just stopped at the path switcher and spin dashed over.
Yeah, you saw me go to the right, and then I spin dash to the left, and it looked pointless. I was actually hitting a path swapper there. To go
Okay,
to
so
the
there's
left.
another trick he's going to do with this boss. He's going to fly over the trigger for the boss actually loading, pretty much. And then he's just going to fly over an invisible wall here. The boss will never actually load, and he can just hit the hitbox that's still there. He's meant to jump in there and shoot cannonballs, but it just doesn't happen. Nice
All right.
score, by the way. I like that.
If you want to read donation comments, this is the perfect cutscene for it.
Okie dokie. First, I'm going to go ahead and once again remind you that the bidding war for Sonic Advance is coming up. Right now, Tails is in the lead with $650, and Knuckles has $375. We have a $200 donation from K-Arts. Hi, K-Arts here. Loving HDQ so far. Shout out to the TSC for making Sonic runs very entertaining. Putting $200 for the Tails run because it'll bring the hype. I have $200 from Showtime 54. Grew up with Sonic and having fun watching these crazy awesome glitches. My sister passed away from cancer, so I figured I should help in the battle to destroy cancer. Good luck to all the runners.
Alright, so this boss is pretty simple. You just stand in this spot, hold a spin dash, and you'll get a whole bunch of hits. And then I'll just damage boost for the remaining hits. Now he can appear either to the left or the right side, but it really does not matter. It's the same time. Alright, so upcoming is one of the most evil tricks in the run in Mushroom Hill 1. I want to do a door clip, which is going to push me into the ground. But the door clip is extremely finicky. I have to be moving to the right with a very specific speed. I have to jump at a specific time. Subpixels have to be aligned well. And assuming all of that goes well, then it'll clip me into the ground. But even then, I have to do a setup for the level wrap. Did we actually go over level wrapping in this run? Or did we only touch that in Sonic 2?
No, we kind of did.
Oh,
Hydro
you
City.
did in Hydro City 2,
Yeah.
that's right. So yeah, we're gonna do another level wrap here, but this one has, normally it's only about a 50% success rate, but if we do it from a very specific spot, that jumps up to a 95% success rate. And that is after this door clip right here.
Nice, dude. That's good.
Shoutouts to Aglar for that one.
Yeah, Aglar, I literally, Aglar is one of the testers of this game. He doesn't test it anymore, but he did a while back. And, you know, I was discussing this level with him, and I basically pleaded to him, please find something for this level, because this level's killing me. And then, he, like, the next day or something, he came back and he said, hey, I found this setup. It's like 95% consistent, and...
Yeah, what I've really liked about a game like this is there's been like, 50 plus people who have contributed to the strats that go into these games. It's, ridiculous how big the community has been.
This game has actually been dissected for upwards of 10 years. Over 10 years now, it's been dissected by testers and people just experimenting and finding all sorts of crazy things. And there's still
finding-
actually some recent things,
Yeah.
too.
Flying Battery 1, we're gonna see some wacky stuff.
Yeah, very new strats.
Alright, so I actually missed this one frame jump at the start of this level. there's one frame where the game considers you grounded, and you can actually jump in midair.
That's worse than stress right there.
It is?
I thought so.
I actually kind of mistimed that flight, so I had to do some really crazy adjusting to make that.
Just took damage there so we could automatically get 6 hits by spin dashing.
So this might look dangerous because I have 0 rings, but it's actually not, just as long as you keep your head together. I don't think I've ever died to this boss doing that strat. Alright, so now we're actually going to see a fairly recent strat that TNT discovered last August. It's very consistent, so it's not risky at all. And if I fail it, I can just try it multiple times. But it's very wacky, so I won't comment on it any further. You guys would just
Pay
make of it
attention to
what you
tails.
will.
Yeah, so basically this is the only level where Tails finds the initiative to realize he can just fly around the walls.
Yeah, we entered the 3rd dimension right here.
I actually do have to slow myself down slightly so I don't bump into those things, but that's about it.
I really really don't have an explanation for why this happens.
Much like in Carnival Night 1, though, he wants to maintain this trick throughout until the boss. That way it makes it really easy to initiate another trick coming up.
Alright, there's actually a very dangerous trick coming up. I actually might have to reset the game because there is a chance that I will get stuck in a wall and I can't do anything other than wait 10 minutes for time over.
So he just activated slow glitch there again,
Yes.
in case you didn't notice, which is why he's standing in midair. That's not normal, just so you guys know. Nice. Yeah, that's good.
I got it.
All right.
That's part 1, but there's still another.
Yeah, part 1.
Yeah, good.
Alright.
So he just flew over here to activate the boss, just because it's activated by horizontal coordinate. And so now he's flying under the boss, trying to make sure, like, if he doesn't do this quick enough, he gets crushed. But I mean, there's plenty of leeway. And just flying up to the boss arena. This is meant to be just like a really lax auto-scroller, but instead with that glitch, you're in pretty much what we call, I guess, the sewers, I guess that is, in this level. Like,
Yeah.
under where the level actually is.
So if you guys have played this game, you may be aware of this platform that's rising. If we do that trick, we actually come from underneath it. So we have to wait for it to go all the way up. It's solid right now, so I can't go through it. But once it gets to the top, the solidity changes, and I can just fly right through it and then land on it.
If you don't understand half the tricks by the end of the game, don't worry about it.
Yeah, just PM us on Twitch or whatever. We'll help you out. We very much appreciate new runners of these games.
Also, pay attention to Robotnik at the bottom here. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, those are supposed to be clouds in the background.
No, I mean,
Yeah, HDL told me that that's how clouds
That's
look
how
in
clouds
Puerto
normally
Rico.
look, yeah.
So, yeah.
Alright, so there's a very easy trick here in this level. This is actually one of the easiest tricks for Tails right here.
Yeah.
Nice.
And this is the perfect time, since there's a lot of downtime here, because I have to wait for the pyramid and the boss. This is the perfect time to explain the 3 types of solidity that this game has. So you have what's called all solid blocks, top solid blocks, and left, right, bottom blocks, or LRBs. And basically the properties of them are all solid blocks are solid from all sides, so you can't enter them from any direction. Top solid blocks are not solid from below, but they're solid from above, so you can jump right through them, but you can't fall through them. LRBs are solid on 3 sides, but not on the very top, so you can fall through them. This level wrap, I got a zip from inside the wall, because, oh yeah, if you spin that here, you won't go anywhere from this edge. Yeah, there's actually a rare instance of a top solid block right underneath an all solid block, and that's what lets me get inside the wall and initiate the zip. Alright, so this is also the perfect time to explain object cycles. You may have seen a whole bunch of moving platforms and objects throughout the game so far. Sandopolis 2 is a very cycle-heavy level. The cycle timers begin whenever the zone starts. So the Act 2 cycles are based on when Act 1 starts. So basically, after the signpost falls down, I do a flight to manipulate this pillar to be out of my way once the level starts, and that'll set the tone for the rest of the level. This is also the third and final level that does not have a screen lock, which enables me to do a screen wrap and go through doors like that. You're going to see that several times in this level. Also, there's a funky ground clip right here. Alright, so I'm on like the earliest possible cycle at the moment. Ooh.
Not anymore, you know.
No, I might actually have to jump for that pillar later on, because it might be in my way. It might crush me.
Yeah, there was a pillar there that he couldn't have crossed without pushing another block, but by doing the vertical screen transition, he did it again here to pass through objects that you would otherwise have to spend a lot of time moving out of the way.
I actually did a screen wrap there earlier. Well, there were 2 horizontal doors right above each other, or one above the other. I did the screen wrap to unload them, and then when the screen caught up, their collision reloaded and it pushed me inside the wall. And if you were vigilant, you may have noticed that there were actually rings inside that wall. You're not supposed to get inside that wall normally. This game actually does have some stray rings inside places that you're not normally supposed to get to. No music.
Nice, no music,
Alright, yeah.
dude.
So yeah, you may have noticed that if you kill him fast enough before he's able to start moving, the boss music will never start. That's how you know you got a good boss fight.
Okay, so this, in my opinion, is the worst level in the
Worst
game.
level in the game, by far.
There's slopes all over the ground that just shouldn't be there.
Yeah, so it's ridiculous trying to get precise jumps because the floor keeps just going up and down and up and down. And it's got a random zip coming up here. I'm not kidding, 100% random. Whether he can just clip through the floor here, it didn't happen. But you can also clip through the floor partially and hit lava and then just get hit and then lose time. It's pretty dreadful. And then there's another clip coming up that he's going to do intentionally, which is a trick you can get stuck on for minutes, pretty much. Pressure's on though, because HDL got a 3 for 3 in practice.
Yeah, it's called Stair Clip. It's a 1-frame jump release, and it still might fail.
Nice! Dude.
So yeah, even if you get the correct frame on that jump, there's actually a very low chance that if your vertical subpixels are bad, it will still not let you go through. But that usually isn't the case, as long as you time the jump correctly.
Alright, so what's going to happen after this boss is there's lots of hidden items that you can have the signpost fall onto. But in this level, and I believe this level alone, you can actually manipulate that item box to push your character into the ground, and it's much easier with Tails because he actually, that's in. He has a shorter hitbox, so he can just hold right in that position and just go straight into the ground. Well, I don't know why it works in Lava Reef and not anywhere else, but it does. And now what he's going to do here is he's going to wait for like 6 3/4 seconds. He's waiting pretty much for Lava Reef 2 to actually load so that he will get warped to the correct place. If he does that at like 1 second, he goes pretty much nowhere. But at 6.5, he goes just far enough to get to this tube, which takes him pretty much to the end of the level. And then he's going to do another trick, which, do we even have a name for this?
Wall skip.
Wall skip. All right, here you go. He's going to do a really incredibly fast spin dash to this wall, and then he's going to do 2 spin dashes in very quick succession to get through. Nice, that's good.
And then I go,
Follows up with this.
that was intentional, by the way. I just wanted to show you that you can't go left. But yeah, that wall skip, normally that's Knuckles' path. Let me just explain while we have a bunch of oh-nos here.
Oh no.
Those walls only Knuckles can break. However, the walls are sprite-based, so like all sprite-based objects, if they are off the screen far enough, the collision unloads. So basically, you manipulate the screen with spin dashes to where the screen is positioned to the left, and it unloads the wall just enough time for you to spin dash past where the walls are, and then as the screen catches up, the wall loads back, but you're already on the other side. So that's how wall skip works. The first one is much harder because you have to do a really fast spin dash to get it. The second one is much easier because the booster or whatever it is, it puts you at max speed instantly.
This is the slinky.
Yeah, this is the most important trick in the game. It's called the slinky. It doesn't look like it's important, but trust me, it is.
Alright, so the level coming up is like an exception, just like every other level in the whole game. Basically, the way it's too tall to fit in the normal coordinates. So what they did was that the level loops, but like only at certain spots, so that they could fit like more vertical space. But when he does the trick where he does the vertical wraparound, he actually hits one of the spots at the very late in the level, and you're gonna see it right here. So it's not really a wrap. It basically locks the screen at the end of the level, and then it just continues like normal.
Yeah, so he's at the bottom of the level there. He jumps up and triggers the top of the level pretty much, and then falls down what should be a death pit, and instead falls into the top of the level, and he's at the end of the stage. He's just taking damage there to get invincibility, so he can easily hit this guy. 58's good.
Alright, so Death Egg is relatively tame. Death Egg 1, it's pretty straightforward. The biggest challenge of that level is definitely the boss fight. His name is Red Eye, and he is pretty much the hardest fight in this game. For Tails at least. He's not hard per se, but like for a speedrun sense, it's actually he's very hard to optimize. He's also one of the few bosses that you have to hit more than 8 times.
Another thing I want to explain just for Death Egg 1 is, this game, you don't just break it. It's not like you just play the game and it's full of glitches. Like, this level we tried to break, and we actually found a way to do a level wrap in this level, but you cannot get to the boss. So it's completely pointless. You just get stuck in no man's land. So it actually takes like a lot of effort to find these glitches and such.
Alright, this is actually a Tails-only path. There's actually nothing down there but a death pit. So if you come that way as Sonic, you'll just die. If you don't have Tails to fly you up.
You can go up there with objects, but it saves half a second to fly up there, I think, if I remember.
Yeah, it depends how good you fly is. Roughly half a second. That level was pretty much perfect. But yeah, here we go. So to hit him faster, he's going to take damage, and when he hits this guy, like every single frame it changes pretty much where the spikes are going to come out from. Because it's just like the next ball, the one closest to him. That was actually a really good start. And now he's going to try and manipulate this to bounce on him all 8 times. Nah, not quite. Pretty close, but he got rings back. That was actually really
130
good.
is an excellent time.
Excellent.
Yeah, then he stands right on the middle there, so that Tails doesn't like go there himself.
Yeah, so another intentional death here because he's going to do another level wrap. And for some reason in this level you need it to deload. In Lava Reef you don't. In Ice Cap you don't even have to beat the act. The game makes no sense.
Yeah.
Actually, I think the rule is that every vertical transition you have to die on.
Except Marble Garden.
Alright, so there's one final trick coming up. I have to get inside a wall here, and this trick is actually a little bit finicky sometimes.
Nice, first try.
Nice.
I'm gonna take it a bit easy here. But you actually can get stuck there.
Alright, so he initiated the level wrap. So he had to be on the leftmost pixel of that platform as it was lowering. And sometimes the subpixels don't let you clip there as well, so he had to be more leftmost on the subpixels as well. And that's actually a really nice clip there too. If you mess that up, you can get stuck forever.
Yeah,
So-
a while back. This trick, this level wrap, I believe was found 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. It was found in 2012, I think. And initially, there was like a very large chance that you could get stuck in that floor. And I looked into it and I dissected it for a long time, and I actually found a very consistent way to prevent getting stuck there. This level actually used to be a very big run killer back in the day for getting stuck in that floor. I've actually been like 40 seconds ahead of PB and gotten stuck in that floor right at the end of the game. So there's actually a bug that can happen here on this boss where the floor will shift and the right side will not be solid, but it's solid this time. But it's very, very rare. We don't know exactly what causes it, but we think it has to do with the way you transition from the previous boss to this one. It's usually not a problem though. As I said, it's extremely rare. And I do a jump there from the corner because it actually manipulates him to move to the right, and that positions the screen in a way where the floor will give me an easy reference to stand right when he's coming up here. All right, so get ready on time. It's going to be when the screen fades white.
Yeah, you can notice the timer is frozen now. So for game time, that doesn't matter.
The game's pretty much over. He didn't have to risk his life by jumping into the pit there, but
Time.
that's an insane time for a marathon.
And yeah, that was Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Hope you guys enjoyed it. By the way, Knuckles never wins, so I'm not surprised that Tails was picked.
Yeah.
He has never won in any of these bidding wars for Sonic 3.
So you might have noticed we pretty much talked non-stop for 40 minutes. There's a lot to know about this game, but we're all pretty friendly. We love new runners, so
Yeah,
don't be afraid to.
Marzo has like a huge document full of like really intricate stuff on this game.
Oh yeah, Marzo's document is astronomically detailed. It's not public yet, but just take it from me. It's ridiculous. If you're interested in picking up this game or at least trying it out, don't be intimidated by the tricks. I can guarantee you that the tricks in this game are actually the easy part of the run, for the most part. There are a couple of exceptions, but it's mostly execution, and the tricks are really not nearly as bad as they appear to be. Even like the carnival, like I botched up Carnival Night a lot, but that's not really that big of a deal. It's not really that tough. So if you're shied away from maybe picking up the game because you think the tricks look hard or they're too demanding, don't even worry about it. And you can always ask us. We're on the SRL IRC. I'm on SDA. We'll help you out. There's information on the SDA knowledge base as well that you can check out.